Thank you. Yes, a very good afternoon. 12 hours. So, am I audible properly, children? I want your comments, please. Okay, thank you very much. Now, I have already started with the chapter on chapter 5, that is the name of the chapter, as per your book, as I have told you yesterday, is Challenges to and Restoration of the Congress System, whereas the part which is the change syllabus which you are having, it is named as Democratic Resurgence. Democratic Resurgence. Okay. So, as started yesterday, I've told you that after the first general elections, which completed in the year 1952, after that you come to know that Jawaharlal Nehru had become the first Prime Minister of India, and you know, in the year 1964 May, I told you that yesterday only I have told you that he fell sick for he was not well for 1 year, and after that he passed away in the year 1964. Now, after that there was a problem. Two challenges have come upon. First of all was that who is going to take up as the next Prime Minister. This was one, and the next one was that if India is going to maintain or continue to be a democracy, especially in a country like India, which is most of the people are under poverty, most of the people who are illiterate, you know, how can again another election take place? So this was the two challenges which has come upon, that who is going to become the next Prime Minister, and whether the democratic character of India, that is arranging for next election, will be possible or not. So, you know, when this problem was coming up, you know, this problem, although it came up to be very, I'll say that it has come up to be very big problem, but it was solved very easily when the then president of the Indian National Congress, the president of that time, his name was K. Kamraj. He was the president of the Congress party. K. Kamraj, you know. So, he being the president of the Congress party, he suggested the name of Lal Bahadur Shastri. And, you know, when the name of Lal Bahadur Shastri was put forward by him, it was easily accepted because, you know, Lal Bahadur Shastri, as all of us, we know that he was very cool-minded, and so far he had no charges of corruption or anything of that sort against him. He was a very simple man, very committed man. So he became the Prime Minister of India after Jawaharlal Nehru. But unfortunately also you will find that his time was also, his rule was also not for a long period. It was only for 2 years, because, no, before telling you that, I'll just tell you that, you know, when he became the Prime Minister of India, that time, just before that time, when I have discussed India-China relations, I have talked about that India and China had one war with them in the year 1962. So first of all, you know, there was Indo-China war had taken place in the year 1962. This was one reason. And during that time, you know, the economic condition of India was very, very poor. Why? You know, first of all, because of the war, huge military expenditure had taken place. And finally, another reason was that, you know, another reason why was that there was, you know, frequent famines, droughts were there in the country, and so the economic condition of India, you know, was very, very poor during that time. Now, when Lal Bahadur Shastri had become the Prime Minister of India, you know, before that, he had also served as cabinet ministers, and once upon a time, he has also, you know, served as the Rail Minister of India, Minister of Railways. He was there, but you know, you can understand that what a committed man he was, or what a simple man he was, that during that time when he was the rail minister, you know, 2 accidents had taken place, and although he was not the reason, but he felt that morally he is responsible for that. Morally, that means internally he did not feel good for it, and he had resigned from the post. But after that, he was still, his name was nominated for becoming the Prime Minister of India. And you know, that time when Lal Bahadur Shastri came to India, become the Prime Minister of India, what he wanted to do, you know, he wanted to improve the condition of the farmers, because as I've told you, the economic condition of India was very, very poor. And you know, this Lal Bahadur Shastri, he had given up one particular slogan which became very, very famous, was Jai Jawan Jai Kisan. This is the famous dialogue, this is the famous slogan which was actually put forward or given up by Lal Bahadur Shastri when he had become the Prime Minister of India. But unfortunately, you know, he did not continue long. It was in the year 1966, he had gone to Tashkent, which was actually the capital of Uzbekistan. And there only he had actually gone there. Why? Because the general, the ruler of Pakistan, he was a military dictator. His name was Muhammad Ayub Khan. You have heard about his name before only. He was there, and he wanted to enter into a treaty with Muhammad Ayub Khan, so that the prolonged war which was taking place between India and Pakistan could be solved. So he had gone to Tashkent to sign a treaty, but when he has gone, you know, it was January, it was 10th of January, it was very, very cold there, and there only he had died. Now you can understand that what a condition was there when within 2 years only, 2 Prime Minister of India had actually died. This was also, as I've told you yesterday itself, that, you know, 1960s have been a very, very critical era for Indian political system, and one reason was that 2 prime ministers have died in succession, that is within 2 years. There was the Chinese war which had taken place. There was huge military expenditure in India, and together with that, you know, nature had also not supported. Why? Because, you know, most of the time you will find that droughts and famines have taken place, monsoons have failed, poverty had increased, and the condition of the people had become miserable. So again the same problem arose after the death of Lal Bahadur Shastri, and again the same question, that who is going to become the next Prime Minister. Now 2 names were put forward. One was the name of Morarji Desai. You know, Morarji Desai has served as the Chief Minister of Bombay before. So he had a long history of politics, and you know, but among the senior members of the Congress, you know, they had proposed the name of Mrs. Indira Gandhi, who had actually had the experience of working for a short time within the Council of Ministers under Jawaharlal Nehru. Now you could have asked me that, Miss, if it would have been an open classroom before, then you could have asked me that, Miss, why the senior members of the Congress, they had proposed the name for Mrs. Indira Gandhi. Now the senior members of the Congress, you know, they were having a plan. And what was that plan? The plan was that if we are going to suggest the name of Mrs. Indira Gandhi, she was a very young, she was young in age, she was also young in her political experience. So what would happen? We can pressurize her and we can make her do what we wanted. So finally, you know, a secret election had taken place, and you know, we find that in the year 1966, Mrs. Indira Gandhi, she was elected, where she got more than 2/3 of the seats. More than 2/3 of the seats in the Lok Sabha, you know, sorry, MPs, they have voted for Mrs. Indira Gandhi, she won and she became the next Prime Minister of India after Lal Bahadur Shastri. Clear? But you know, this was the time, this was again one of the time, you know, when this was also the chair of the Prime Minister was not a bed of roses for Mrs. Indira Gandhi, because the very next year, that is 1967 was a year when a general elections to the Lok Sabha was going to take place, and this was the time, you know, which was very challenging for Mrs. Indira Gandhi. Why? Because you know, the situation of India during that time, you know, it was very the economic condition of the country was very poor, and the people were all the people of the country, they were actually you know, they were protesting against the poor condition which they had. So what Mrs. Indira Gandhi, what she did, you know, now she thought that I cannot be under the guidance of all the senior members of the Congress. I have to come out of it and I have to make my own position. And first of all, what she did, you know, first of all, the value of Indian rupee was devaluated. That means, first of all, what happened, you know, during her time, $1 used to cause was the cost of $1 in Indian currency was 5 rupees, but after that it increased to rupees 7. This was one reason. Together with that, you know, the prices of all the food commodities, that means commodities which were actually for eating, like for food, edible things, you know, all the food grains, everything, the prices of those things were, you know, it had risen to any extent. And together with that, you know, the people were unhappy with this situation. The economic situation, the people were not at all happy. And what did they do? You know, they started protesting in various parts of India. And you know, there were hartals, there were bands. So you can understand that 1966, when Mrs. Indira Gandhi, she becomes the Prime Minister, and immediately what a challenge has come up to her. And now she was determined that she will take up her own duty. She will take up her own responsibility. She will not follow the others. Now she will do whatever she liked. Now another concept came up, and the name of that concept was, it was known as non-congressism. Non-congressism. Now, what does the word non-congressism mean? Now, from the word non means, you can understand those who were actually against the Congress party or the Congress ideology. Now, when this situation was going on, 2 prime ministers have died. Mrs. Indira Gandhi had come to power, and the economic condition of India had become very poor. Now all the opposition parties, mainly the socialist parties and also the communist parties, you know, what did they do? All the parties, those who were anti-Congress, they had built up one coalition or one group or one front that was known to be the non-Congress or non-Congressism. Non-Congressism was actually a concept where all the parties who were opposed or who were in opposition to the Congress, they have formed one front, and the name of that was actually given as non-Congressism. And please do remember, the name of this was given by Ram Manohar Lohia. The name non-Congressism was given by one of the famous socialist leaders of that time. His name was Ram Manohar Lohia. Now why am I stressing his name? Because in this chapter, 2 eminent personalities which you are going to study together with the others, as has been added to your syllabus, is Jai Prakash Narayan, and another one is Ram Manohar Lohia. Clear? So the concept of non-Congressism was made popular by Ram Manohar Lohia, who was actually the leader of the Socialist Party, and who were the members of, who had joined the non-Congress parties. They were actually all those opposition parties who were against the Congress party or the Congress ideology. Now the question comes, that why they had to form such a thing. Because, you know, they felt that all the opposition parties, their votes were divided. Now, those who believed in another ideology, they will go and vote to another part, their own party. Those who believed in this ideology, they will go and vote to another party. So what will happen? The votes are getting divided, and as the votes are getting divided, so Congress is getting a majority. So now they got this idea, don't get the votes divided, let all the opposition parties, those who are anti-Congress, become together. So now what will happen? The votes will not get divided. Instead, what will happen? All the votes will come together. So there were only two parties. One was the Congress party, and another front was actually all those opposition parties who were actually against the Congress party, or those who were known to be the non-Congress parties. So the fourth general elections, the elections of 1967 are actually known to be the fourth general elections. It took place, and you know, this was known to be after 1952. The results of the fourth general elections, which took place in the year February 1967, it was regarded for, the results of this election was regarded to be political earthquake for the Congress party. Again, I am repeating, the election results of the fourth general elections, which was held in the year 1967, February, the results of this election was described as a political earthquake for the Congress party. Now the reason why, you know, the reason was why this was for the first time after independence. The Congress party, you know, it had won in the Lok Sabha. It got a majority in the Lok Sabha, but it was a very, very poor majority, which means that anyhow they had managed to get a majority in the Lok Sabha. But most of the important leaders of the Congress party, like I was giving you the name of K. Kamraj, who was actually once upon a time the president of the Congress party. You know, K. Kamraj from Tamil Nadu. You will have to remember the names of all these stalwarts. Stalwarts means the great leaders of the Congress. Then you have S.K. Patil from Maharashtra, then Atulya Ghosh from West Bengal, and K.B. Sahai from Bihar. All the eminent leaders of the Congress, you know, they have lost the elections. Clear? So in the Lok Sabha, you can find that anyhow the Congress managed to make a narrow escape. That means anyhow they won by getting a very, very thin majority. But you know, the 9 states of India, you have to remember the names of these 9 states also, which were known to be the Congress states or the Congress dominated states. You know, the names of these states were you had Punjab, Haryana, Uttar Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh, Bihar, West Bengal, Orissa, Madras, you know, all Kerala. All these states which were once upon a time known to be the Congress dominated states or Congress states, in all these 9 states, you know, the Congress party had lost in the assembly elections. Assembly elections means elections to the state legislative assembly. Clear? Now, the question comes, that means if in all these states, if the Congress party had lost, so who had formed the government in these states? You know, in most of the states, you know, coalition governments were formed. That means all the parties who were anti-Congress or non-Congress, you know, they had formed the party. Whereas in Tamil Nadu, you can find that one particular party whose name, regional party, which was known to be the Dravida Munnetra Kazhagam, DMK, it had formed the the government in Tamil Nadu, whereas in most of the states you can find that a coalition was formed. And during this time you see that when coalition governments were being formed in most of the states, one thing had come up, another agitation came up. And what was that agitation? What was that? Hindi agitation. That means most of the states of India, they started protesting, and they wanted, they all started moving towards Delhi, and there they wanted to do what, they wanted to go for a protest. For what? Because they were expecting that the central government, which was actually under the Congress, because just before some time I've told you that the Congress had managed to maintain a simple majority or a thin majority in the Lok Sabha. So the government at the center was formed by the Congress. So all these parties, all the other states, where the Congress had lost, they were of this opinion that the Congress was going to make Hindi as the official language of India. And when this came up, when this issue came up, there were protests all over India. And people from all over India, they started moving towards Delhi. They took a train to Delhi. And why? Because they were going there to protest against the government's policy of making or declaring Hindi as the official language. And it is for this reason also, that India does not have any national language of its own. It does not have its own a national language. Now, so after 1967, I told you, one development took place in India. What was that? Can you tell me, anybody of you? One development took place immediately after the results of the 1967 elections, general elections. Just now I have told you, and I wanted to know that whether you are there following me or not. One development had taken place. And what was that? Anyone, please? Immediately after the results were declared of 1967 general elections, one new thing had come upon the whole of India. And what was that? Unfortunately, nobody is writing. It was, the system of coalition government. Just now I told you that all the Congress dominated areas, the 9 states of India, where the Congress had once upon a time ruled, they have lost the elections there, and in most of the states, coalition governments were formed. So, started in India the era of coalition. So, one famous coalition was formed in India, and the name of that coalition was actually SVD. Now, what does this word SVD stand for? It stands for Samyukt Vidhayak Dal. Samyukt means together. All the opposition parties, those who were anti-Congress parties, they have come together and they have formed one coalition. And what was the name of that coalition? The name of that coalition was given as Samyukt Vidhayak Dal. That means all the anti-Congress parties, they came together, formed a new party. What was the name of that party? Samyukt Vidhayak Dal. And this Dal, this party had actually formed the coalition in most parts of India. For example, if you see in Bihar, it included 2 socialist parties, SSP and PSP. Then again, if you go to Punjab, there you see that popular parties like the Akali Dal and the Satsang groups, many groups together, they have actually formed the coalition governments in various parts of India, in various states of India, where once upon a time the Congress used to dominate. Clear? So 1967 brought about another new development, and the development was coalition. And today the last topic which I am going to do is that defection. Now what is defection? You know, defection was a system which became very, very popular after the elections of 1967. So after 1967, you can see that so many developments in politics of India had taken place. One was, I told you, Congress had lost. Then you found that coalition government has been formed, and another one came up which was known to be defection. Now what is defection? You know, defection was a system in which an MLA or MP was frequently changing their party, even from the party from which they have won the election. That means, for example, you see that once upon a time, if I was in Congress party, although I have won my seat, I have become an MLA from being a member of the Congress, but when I saw that the Congress is losing my popularity, before the expiry of my term, that is, before the expiry of 5 years, what did I do? I changed my party. So this was known to be defection, and this was this particular thing of defection, you know, that time in India it was used, a very popular expression was used, and you have to remember this expression. It was known by Ayalal Gayaral. Ayaram Gayaram, sorry, Ayaram Gayaram. Why was this said, you know, Ayaram Gayaram? Ayaram Gayaram was actually what? It was actually a phrase used to, or an expression used to define defection. Why this has happened, you know? Because one of the MLAs of Haryana, his name was Gayalal. He was an MLA from Haryana, and in 15 days, you know, he changed his party thrice. 3 times he had changed the party within a period of only fortnight, means 15 days. So it was from his name, Gayalal, that the expression was used, Ayaram Gayaram. Clear? This was expressed to use that how he has changed his party. Once from Congress he went to United Front, and then again from United Front he returned back to Congress, and this he had done once in a time of only 15 days. So it was to express this particular thing which was known to be defection, that the phrase or expression Ayaram Gayaram was actually used. Clear? So next day I will start from split in the Congress system. This chapter is interesting in the sense that it is explaining to you about what the political turmoil had taken place in India immediately after the death of Jawaharlal Nehru, that is in the 1960s. Thank you very much.